Monolith Film Podcast. I am your co-host, Lee Byrne. Joining me as always is Nicholas Gillum. Say hi, Nick.
Oh, hi.
How's it going, Nick?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Not too bad.
Special episode today?
Yeah, we got a couple guests this time. Returning is my brother, Joey Byrne.
Hi.
And for the first time ever on the Monolith Film Podcast, joining us is Dante DePaganon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
In
4 p.m.
Almost 4 p.m. Yeah.
Today, we're going to be doing Brandon Cronenberg's Antiviral. Came out in 2012. And that is, in fact, David Cronenberg's son.
Son's
Fun
first
fact.
feature.
Yep. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was his debut.
Not enough?
He won an award at somewhere for it.
I think the
Co-op,
Toronto,
Toronto Film Festival, I think.
Toronto
Yeah.
Film Festival, I think.
Filmed in Toronto and Hamilton.
Looks like it.
Yeah, well, for sure, all the city stuff is in Toronto. I think the only thing they filmed in Hamilton is probably when they're up at the Rich Bitch house.
When Malcolm McDowell shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a fun little treat to have him in the movie. I wasn't
I knew you-
expecting a familiar face.
Yeah, I knew you'd like it.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
it's where they put all the budgets to pay him.
Just Malcolm.
Just Malcolm. All the budget went to that.
He said, paint the fucking walls white and pay Malcolm.
Yeah.
Nick, you want to recap the movie?
Yeah, I was having a bit of difficulty with this movie, but I think we'll get into that later. It's
Okay.
some kind of near future where celebrity is, I don't know, people love these celebrities more than anything, so much so that they want to have the same diseases that these celebrities have, so they inject themselves with cold sores and other nasty bits and bobs from these sick celebrities, sold through special clinics. Our main character, Sid, I don't know his last name.
March.
Sid March, a nice ginger fellow. I forget the actor's real name. He's in a lot of stuff, though.
Yeah,
Caleb?
Something Jones.
Yeah, he's in tons of stuff. But he works at one of these clinics as, I guess he's a salesman, selling these viruses, viri. And he's stealing some, injects himself with some sickness, and then he has to find out how to cure himself. And we follow him for the last hour of the movie trying to find out what this new disease is.
Yeah, he's also a smuggler, right? So he smuggles these like exclusive viruses and then sells them on the black market.
Yeah, this was a pretty high concept movie for a first feature.
Yeah, I agree. But it's all, I mean, it's still, like we talked about in Arrival last week,
Yeah.
like it's high concept, but it's still kind of spoon fed to the audience.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about my stuff later. Was there any other kind of narrative stuff you wanted to tell? The smuggling and the patent and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's necessary for analysis, but the narrative is quite dense.
Yeah, it is. There's definitely a decent amount of shit going on in this.
Hmm.
I don't know. If the viewers want to know more, they can watch it. I don't think it's necessary to.
No. On the little IMDb description, I think it says Sid looks for a disease or something.
There you go. That's good
Most
enough for me.
nonsense description.
I don't even think that's true.
Yeah, not really. The Wikipedia plot description is pretty in depth, so if they want to hit that up,
Hit it
Yeah,
up.
I had to read it after watching it.
that makes sense to me.
It's an interesting idea. It's different.
This was everybody's first time watching it except for Joey and I, right?
Yeah.
So what were your guys' first impressions then?
You want to go first?
Sure. I thought it was super meh. Like it was the epitome of like a one-off kind of like horror. It's not, I don't even think it was like kind of horror-y. It was like kind of like just one of those random, it felt like one of those random horrors you find on Netflix. Except it also had like a pretty high concept on slapped on it, you know?
Right.
And I don't know. It just felt that it was kind of like, it was really hard because there was not a lot of exposition, I find, and there wasn't enough like visual storytelling to back it up, I found. And it was kind of hard to keep track of what was going on and like everything like that, because there was like kind of this lack of dialogue in the beginning where it's like I didn't fully understand what was happening with the disease and stuff like that, and why people wanted to get it. And like I thought like, and then there was like this Photoshop machine where you unblur your face for some reason, and I still don't know what that's used for, kind of thing like that.
I thought that was the coolest part of the movie, that face.
Yeah, it was cool, but what? Why was it there? What did they need to do with that? You know?
It's the fucking
The
what's his
patent,
name?
isn't it?
Well, what's his name? The dude, the owner of Lucas Clinic.
That's the tulip guy.
Yeah, the tulip guy. Yeah, tulip guy. He tulip guy explains it. He kind of says it's like there's so much information in the human face that the machine they use to analyze the virus associates an arbitrary face to the virus, so that the employee can use his subconscious to analyze the face instead of analyzing the virus to make it no longer contagious.
See, that makes no sense to me.
No, it doesn't. Not really. And yeah, that I agree. That doesn't make much sense, because how can you trust someone's intuition that heavily?
Yeah.
To just look at a blurred face and be like, "Oh, it's not contagious anymore." There you go.
Maybe you're just fucking ugly, bro. Who knows? No. I also couldn't tell if the movie was British or American by the end of it, and it turns out it's Canadian and French.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know
both.
where the French comes from.
I think
Yeah.
because they're from Quebec.
No, they're not.
is.
They're from Toronto.
Yeah,
Cronenberg? Oh, really?
yeah,
Yeah.
literally everyone in here is from Toronto, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
I think maybe like the movie was funded heavily by like French people. I don't
Oh,
know.
that makes sense. I could
It's
buy that.
possible.
Well, fuck, they had $3.3 million budget.
Yeah, and they only
think-
made like $100,000 in the box office.
Yeah, they
Like,
tanked
rest
hard.
in peace, bankroll, bro.
I think the province of Quebec does a lot of just Canadian film production in general. Like they just give money like to films in Canada in general for like projects and stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it said that. Like I thought that too, but then when I looked it up on Wikipedia, like France, the country, was like credited.
Oh,
Yeah, I know Alliance Films, with I think might be a French company from France, and then Téléfilm Canada, which is obviously a Quebec company, produced it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the kind of artsy or like less big studio kind of name people, like if Cronenberg, or it's when I say Cronenberg, I'm thinking David, but Brandon is the son's name.
Yeah.
When Brandon, like someone who has no name associated to him at all or something like that, a lot of these French companies will give them money for deals, like future movie deals. So like they'll sign for 3 movies or something and give you $1 million, but you need to pay them back the $1 million and return the 3 movie kind of thing. So this could be part of some deal, like Nicholas Winding Refn and stuff. That's how he gets his money. It's all from like government of France and stuff.
Okay.
Like they'll pay for a lot of these kind of auteur guys or kind of startup kind of people to get movies going, but just as kind of just as product, they want to return.
Yeah. Well, fuck, I hope he has a movie coming out next, or is supposed to come out this year, so I hope it does a lot fucking better for his sake.
I felt the same way that Dante did about the movie. I was kind of always wanting a bit more. The horror wasn't all there for me. I wanted more blood and guts in it. I was expecting a more bodily horror kind of thing, and we only got a few instances of gross ripped flesh or anything like that. And I thought the first half an hour of the movie, I watched it in 2 shots, the first half an hour and then the last hour 15 or so. And the first 30 minutes I thought were like you said, Dante, it needed a bit of exposition, and I wasn't a fan of the actors or the clinic set, really.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there wasn't enough wide shots or anything to show you what you are. You're kind of just seeing a white background and someone's face on it. It almost felt a bit cheap at the beginning. And then the end, I enjoyed the end of the movie. The last half an hour, I thought that was quite good.
I
When
agree.
they're back in the clinic and kind of running around and stuff. But the movie as a whole, I thought it was very uneven.
Hmm. Yeah, you study film, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know the first bit of the movie in the clinic and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those shots, bro, uncomposed.
You didn't like him.
There was a couple. There was a couple of good shots in the beginning.
Yeah, I thought there was a couple good ones for sure.
There's a lot of the close-ups on the actor's face. They were like,
Yeah.
I found them pretty uncomposed and kind of not dynamic at all.
No.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of the point though, because it's supposed to look clinical. It's supposed to look dull. So like every close up is almost like perfectly symmetric with the character's face right in the middle and nothing else is going on.
No, I mean like there's some shots that it's like not in the middle and not on the thirds either.
And I think the lack of color or any kind of anything dynamic or anything to get your eyes going was a bit bland. I thought that first beginning clinical part.
Yeah.
Even in other movies where you have a clinical set or a hospital kind of set, you can spice it up with some fucking different lights or something. Do anything to get some depth in it. These were all very flat images, very black, white, right in your face kind of thing like that. I was looking for always a little more juice in it, and we get that further in the movie. But that first beginning part, I thought was very bland, but it gets better as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I find the movie's biggest problem is its pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like if fucking nothing happens, and then a whole bunch of shit happens, and then nothing happens again, and then a whole bunch of shit happens, and then nothing happens, and then a whole bunch of shit happens, and then the movie's over.
Yeah.
I think pacing was one of the first things that critics were saying about that and character development.
Yeah.
The
They were
character
criticizing those two things, but the pacing, the initial release was actually not at Toronto Films Festival. It was at another festival. I forget the name. It was a French one though.
It was Con.
Was
Yeah,
it
it was.
Cannes?
It was Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Con.
And but after that viewing, Brandon shaved off like 6 minutes of the movie in editing. He just cut like.
And I imagine I imagine it being just like 6 extra minutes of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he realized it had to go probably.
But that could be the fault of the grand narrative that he's trying to portray. You have to come up with an entire world, come up with the exposition, the whole set, everything. You got to put that in, and you're supposed to get that done the first 15 minutes of the movie. And this is kind of stretched over
Yeah,
45 or so minutes.
yeah.
It was very ambitious.
Yeah, the first act is so fucking long.
Yeah, it is. It's insane. I think the biggest there are, first of all, I don't mind the lack of character development.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're supposed to care for these characters anyways.
No.
I think there are just too many characters that
Mm-hmm.
don't go anywhere. Like Arvid,
Yeah.
the meat market dude,
Yeah.
he just drops out of the picture right before the climax,
Yeah.
which is a terrible decision to make when you've spent the entire first 2 acts building up a character.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, fucking Levin or Levine
Yeah.
is the main antagonist, but you only introduced him in the second act, so what the fuck is going on here?
Mm-hmm. And only
And then,
for like 3 shots in 1 2-minute scene.
yeah, exactly. And then you have Malcolm McDonald's character, who should be important, but he only gets some bullshit monologue about skin grafts on his arm.
Yeah. But that scene, I think, was the nicest in the whole movie.
Really? I didn't like that at all.
Oh, no. I like
No.
the kind of profile view, and you have the kind of picturama in the background. And I thought it was kind of nice compared to the other black and white kind of stuff that you can imagine seeing before.
I also think there was too much running around in the movie. Like, the amount of times Sid goes from the clinic to his apartment to the mansion, back to the clinic, back to his apartment, to the meat market, back to his apartment, back to the clinic, back to the mansion.
Yeah.
None of that shit should have happened.
No.
The first act should have been in his apartment and in the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
The second act should have been in, the criminal area and the mansion and then finish in the clinic.
Mhm.
There should have been a lot less jumping around, and I think that would have helped the pacing a lot.
Yeah, also like towards the end where like he finds that like that guy Derek's house. It's like
Yeah.
he goes into like John Wick's nightclub from the first one, and then ends up in the Red Room from fucking Twin Peaks, and then ends up in the back alley of some place, and then they beat him up, they leave him on the street, then he's like right in front of he's right at Derek's house. We don't get anything in between, you know? It's
Yeah,
like really fast.
Yeah.
Did Derek live right beside Levine?
and completely uneven set design though.
Doesn't
Oh,
he
yeah.
wake up in the diner?
I think he wakes up
No,
on the
he wakes up
floor
on-
and he's in a diner after.
And then he's like, I'm thinking of when he's sort of intercepted by those two guys who are looking for him.
The
in
two
that
guys
diner.
who are eating calamari.
Yeah, exactly. The calamari fiends.
What
I said
fucking
that, what-
doctor is serving you calamari at fucking 11 a.m.?
Everyone's
That's
trying to get
exactly what I
sick.
said.
Everyone's trying to get sick. That's what I said.
I guess.
But they only want to get.
I'll have the calamari.
Extra marinara with that shit, fuck.
What?
You don't have marinara and calamari?
I don't know. Fuck, sounds weird to me.
No, it's fucking good, dude. Well,
Just
lemon
lemon.
on the
Just
side?
lemon.
Just lemon?
Just lemon.
All right, this is the end of the podcast. What did you
Yeah.
guys think about our main protagonist?
Sid March, I love him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I like having said all that. I love this movie.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I just thought it was uneven.
I think if any of the characters needed more character development, it was probably the main character.
Mhm.
I sort of was never. You're never really sure if he's actually like a celebrity fanatic throughout the thing, or because he's like either pretending not to be, or he's really not, but he is.
Mm.
It's sort of a weird thing, but also I think it would have made the whole him injecting himself with viruses and being really sick and all the sort of body horror type scenes. It would have made it more shocking if we sort of had more of a connection to this guy. If we knew more about him, I guess.
Not only that, but it would give it more meaning too, because like without him injecting himself, this movie doesn't exist, you know?
Right.
In the movie, if he doesn't inject himself. So like I feel like I don't really know why he did it, you know? I understand like the little guys that come into his clinic and want to inject themselves because they're fascinated with this Hannah Geist chick. But like he knows a bit more, right? He's kind of on the inside a little bit. So it's like
Right.
I want to know whether he's a fanatic, or I want to know why. What about him made him decide to inject himself with Hannah's blood? You know, and in fact,
I mean, from the last scene, he's a fanatic, right? Just from that, I mean, it's like
That's the big reveal. Is supposed to be that last shot.
Yeah, I think so too. I think what Levine
Right.
says when Sid March is being held hostage at the Volin Tesler clinic
Mhm.
in that room with all the Hannah Geist paintings.
That was a nice set.
I like that too. But I think what Levine says there about the intimacy and the sexual nature of a virus,
Mhm.
and how the infected person assumes the male position, and by infecting a second host is in a way sexually penetrating them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think all that is the main part of what Sid March is going for, and that's he's fetishizing the celebrity body
yeah,
in regards to that virus,
Mhm.
because his fantasy, like his dream of walking into a room with Hannah Geist alone and then sticking his needle in her arm,
yeah,
that becomes true, right? But that's been his fantasy since the beginning of the movie. And I think we were trying to figure out the two fucking douchebags who work with him. They're always talking about like celebrity rumors and shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they mentioned that Hannah Geist just doesn't have a vulva.
A little. labia.
Yeah.
Oh no, vulva. Yeah,
Yeah, it was vulva.
yeah.
I think that rumor adds to the need for the needle, because without the vulva, like there's nothing to penetrate. So you need the
Right.
needle to have that sexual act.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I feel like I agree, but I feel like the one thing they could have done to like up that a bit is like make those injection scenes like really sexual, you know?
Yes, I agree.
But like they just felt like he was overdosing on heroin a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yes, I think
They could have made it a bit more orgasmic for him, you know, even if it is like kind of like how do I say this? Like kind of like even if he does look like he's like a crack addict after it, like I feel like that initial injection should be like, you know, oh, you know?
Should be
Yeah, I agree.
ecstasy of injection.
What was that?
There's no vulva. The guy's never heard of armpit fucking before.
Yeah, they could have done some sensual rubbing. Who knows? She has a mouth too, like
There's other options.
other options, yeah. Yeah, those guys, those his coworkers in the clinic, it felt very those scenes felt very like American Psycho, you know, like with the business cards and stuff.
True.
And
Yeah.
and like they're all wearing suits, and there's always the one guy that's like really like social and kind of like you know, like psychotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have this one going like crazy, and then you have like another one that's like who gives a fuck, you know? I got big time American Psycho vibes from that.
That's a good point. It was very uneasy conversation. Always one of them's always very aggressively talking to the others.
Yeah.
And they're very big on putting each other down, it looks like. I can see the American Psycho qualities there. One thing that was nice is that there's a good progression of cleanliness in the shot, and then as the movie progressed, it became sort of like dirtier.
Like the change from the clinic to the apartment to the meat market to the like sex club to the mansion type thing.
Yeah, and while all that was sort of getting like dirtier and grimier and stuff, the protag was getting sort of sicker and sicker and looking more and more affected by the virus. That would be a nice sense of pace, I guess, for the movie. Something that I think they did pretty well. Just that his sickness, it seemed like it got really bad and then got really manageable. Like it sort of, I don't know if that whole the whole waves of illness that he got from that what's her name, Hannah Geist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's how intentional that was. But I remember Arvid in the deli sort of saying something about ebb and flow
Yeah,
of the sicknesses and stuff.
He just meant in general, like by injecting yourself with viruses, you're going to have periods where you're a lot sicker than usual.
Yeah.
I think what you're talking about is like near the very end, like when he was kidnapped by Vol and Tesla, he was in like his worst condition.
Right.
And then the next scene, he's back at the mansion. He seems kind of fine.
Right.
I think it's they mention it very briefly. Levine apologizes for how they're treating him. I think it's kind of implied that they're starving him to death to kind of speed up the process so that he can die on camera before all the Hannah Geist hype dies.
Maybe.
So I think is he a celebrity now?
They're trying to make him one, yeah.
Well, they were trying to kill him on camera so that the world can see what it was like for Hannah Geist to die.
Oh yeah.
So like they claim they were trying to make him a celebrity, but they were definitely just going to kill him.
But I mean, are there no police or any kind of authority figures in this future? How does that make sense that this company, this big company, can release
Well-
a snuff video?
Well, they're not killing him.
Well, they're
They're
holding
just
it against his
watching
will,
him
though.
die. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, what's he gonna do?
I mean, is that
Can't talk in court if you're dead.
Who's gonna believe a fucking ginger, anyways?
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the main focuses of the kind of body horror genre is the kind of effects and gruesomeness. What do you guys think about the effects and the gore of this one?
I agree. I think someone said before there just wasn't enough.
Not enough blood and guts for you.
Not enough. Yeah, not enough of those shocking body horror type scenes, like that hallucination he had when he was analyzing his blood
Yeah.
in his apartment. That was like the only scene that was quite like that in the movie. I think they could have benefited from doing.
A lot more of that.
Yeah.
I was never really grossed out ever at any point.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
I think that biomech scene is probably the best scene in the movie, and it's a shame that it happens in the first act and then nothing comes of it.
Yeah, so quickly too. I really enjoyed the kind of hanging wires and tubage coming out of his skin and stuff.
Yeah, I liked that a lot as well. I was wondering, is there anything more to that scene than just like the meshing of body, virus, and mind with the machinery of the ready face thing, or is it just cool body horror shot?
I think it was just cool body horror shot.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the metaphor is in your face, but
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else there.
Yeah, I find it so weird that scene is so early in the movie, and then they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when it's to the point where when the Hannah's doctor brings up the hallucinations that she's having, I had forgotten about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, same.
And it's
I
like
didn't
I
even
feel
make that
like
connection.
if hallucinations were a real symptom and as like pervasive as he was making it seem, I feel like there should have been a lot more of those scenes in the movie.
And you wouldn't want to bust your nut on the big gross thing in the first 20 minutes of the movie either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd prefer if they built up to like get worse and worse, or maybe as the virus progressed or something like that. That would have been cool.
The closest thing I think we get is that final scene in the clinic at the end when there's kind of the machine keeping the body,
Yeah,
keeping all that kind of virusy stuff, and you kind of get a face melty bit and then a weird arm sticking out. That was cool.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool.
I like that as well. I like
That was,
I like the focus on mouths.
Mm.
Like
True.
the
Yeah.
bleeding from the mouth, the machine coming out of the mouth, the puking blood,
Yeah.
all the mouth stuff I really enjoyed. I think it's the dude gets stabbed in the gums with a syringe.
That is
Yeah.
a nice one. Yeah.
That was fucking cool.
Yeah,
That was
a lot
a
of
good
mouth
scene.
stuff.
Yeah.
I like the mouth because like obviously that's like the main hole that viruses are spread through in a human, but also like word of mouth and the whole double entendre with celebrity and how they're viral and how they're only viral because we speak about them so much.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that reminds me of another cool thing of the movie. All the all the TMZ like entertainment news stuff going on the televisions in the background throughout.
Yeah.
Those are great. Those are fantastic. Did you see the one? You must have noticed the one where it zooms in on the person's butt.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
shows a clip inside a human anus.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was awesome. That was a great scene.
Or there was the other one where it's like it might be the same one, but it's like where they're like using infrared cameras on someone's ass to see their ass.
Yeah,
Through the
on their
clothing.
ass and on their privates and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuck in where in their crotch.
And it just says, and it just flashes hot on the screen in all caps.
Yeah. As if someone's crotch is supposed to be cold.
Yeah, those little like I guess accents on the whole the world that Cronenberg is, portraying. Those are great. I love those.
Yeah, like one of my favorite one that's kind of like that is when after they leave the restaurant with the two calamari guys,
Right.
the restaurant's just called a restaurant, all caps.
Yeah.
It's just a restaurant.
Oh wow.
We've kind of been dancing around the theme. Should I just fucking dive in?
Yeah, you want to do it?
Yeah, it's like if you watch the movie, it's pretty obvious. But considering this isn't on Netflix or Prime or whatever, I don't know how many reviewers will go out of the way to watch it. So I feel like it's worth explicitly mentioning the themes and whatnot.
Yeah, do it.
So it's called Antiviral, right? So it's about a virus. The virus is a metaphor for the other way we use viral in today's society, like internet virality and celebrities and stuff like that. It's a critique of the celebrity fetish, bringing it to its logical extreme and incorporating the virus as the kind of medium by which to interact with these celebrities.
Like the figurative becomes the literal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the whole viral aspect of celebrities becomes an actual virus that people go to a clinic to be infected with so that they can feel closer to these celebrities that they idolize and fetishize. And the act of being infected is of a sexual nature because of the needle and the penetration and the ejaculation of the virus into the bloodstream, etc.
But we've talked about theme before. Kind of a great theme can be let down by a bad narrative or a bad plot or something. Do you guys think the critique here held up?
I think where this movie fails in terms of theme is the lack of critique. The theme is there, the concept is there. What position the movie takes is not there.
Because the character's unchanging throughout.
Yeah, and also we get kind of contradicting statements from the dude who owns the clinic. Early on, there's an interview with the owner of Lucas Clinic and
Is his
an
name
interviewer.
Dorian?
Yeah, Dorian. Thanks.
Yeah.
And he's asked about cultural disease versus literal disease, which is, explicitly the theme of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the unhealthy mania surrounding celebrity. And like Dorian goes on to say, anyone who's famous deserves to be famous. It's not an accomplishment. It's a collaboration between the audience and the celebrity. And he says, celebrities aren't real people. They're group hallucinations.
Mm-hmm.
And that people go to the clinic to feel closer to these people that they see on TV. Like in one sense, the Lucas Clinic stance on the thing is that famous people are only famous because we make them famous. It's not an accomplishment. They didn't do anything. We collectively decided these are the people that we, want to look at. These are the people that are famous.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of reminiscent of that episode of South Park with Britney Spears and stuff.
Where they sacrifice her for harvest.
Yeah, they get all the celebrities to kill themselves for a good harvest that year.
That's a good critique, though.
That was a good critique.
Yeah, but that's it. Like here, he's saying all this, and there's mention of the cultural disease and the unhealthy mania surrounding celebrity, but they never really do anything with it that would suggest that in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's no alternative or any other path given. There's nobody in the movie who's not hooked on celebrity.
Right. Obviously, it's unhealthy. We see Sid March almost fucking die.
Yeah.
But then the movie ends with him making out with a fucking biomech thing.
Yeah, but does that mean that the lure of the celebrity is too much to help yourself from? You can't help it. You have to have this celebrity. There's no other option.
Maybe it's a disillusionment for the viewer on sort of turning the lens towards the viewer, saying, "This is what you fucking people look like to me." Maybe Brandon Cronenberg is taking a what would you call it? A sort of accusatory stance towards the audience on the nature of celebrity in society.
Maybe my favorite.
Like, no. I feel like it would be like this movie was made in 2012, right? It's like I feel like there wasn't enough like influencers back then for like the for it to be so accusatory, you know? Like social media wasn't as big back then with in terms of like fame and celebrity and stuff like that.
Well, no, but I mean, even before social media, there was celebrity and there was fetishizing celebrity and stuff like that. It was just in the form of the boomer celebrity, which is, movie stars and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie came out like kind of right at the end of the transition into what we have now, which is social media celebrity, from what we had before, which is tabloid celebrity. And like
True, yeah. Magazines and stuff.
All those bullshit TV shows like Entertainment Tonight and TMZ, like you mentioned before. You know, like ever since social media started exploding, TMZ is pretty much dead.
Finally.
Like they're not, but I don't hear about them anymore. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this came out back then, back in that kind of, or near the end, I'd say, of that era.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in Cronenberg's own words, the celebrity aspect of this whole movie was an afterthought.
Yeah, I think I remember reading about that. The main thing was just meditation on a virus he had, when he was ill.
Yeah,
and he was like,
the like fetishizing a virus and the intimacy and connection between the virus, the host, and the infected, like the transmitting of the virus and how intimate of a connection that is.
Right.
That came before anything else. And then he kind of just thought like, oh, what's a good metaphor for that?
Yeah.
Or what is that a good metaphor for?
Yeah. Or who would fit the role of someone who fetishizes that? That's
very interesting. Though I would have imagined it happened the other way.
Yeah, me too. And I think this goes into what we were saying previously in the last couple episodes about what came first, text or subtext.
Yeah.
See, this movie is what happens when subtext comes first.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're kind of stuck thinking, okay, well, now I need something to fucking shove this metaphor into.
Yeah.
It's kind of impressive how good of a fit it was, though, to add in the whole celebrity fandom thing.
Mm-hmm.
They do mesh very well.
Yeah. And I mean, plus just with that wordplay of viral.
Yeah, it's like right in your face.
It's almost hard to believe that was a coincidence.
But I wish Brandon Cronenberg would have focused more on the physical virus aspect of the movie and dove deeper into the body horror like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
all this shit about the virus being in your cells and then transmitting it to someone else's cells and like all this talk about the cellular level.
Yeah.
Visually, there should have been some, I don't even care if it was abstract.
Yeah.
But there should have been something in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also assuming that he intended to make a body horror film, right? Like, did he intend to make a body horror film, or did he intend to just make like some thriller that had a little bit of gore in it?
I'm just going from his father's kind of legacy. I would call this more of a sci-fi thriller than anything.
Yeah, me too.
But I feel like just by having a movie about like contracting viruses and stuff and doing that to your body, it sort of is begging to be a body horror movie, even if it didn't quite turn out that way, or maybe it wasn't even intended to be, but it just sort of it's sort of like it would fit so perfectly with the whole
I
shtick,
don't
you know?
know. I don't feel like there's a lot of viruses that will rip your body up.
Yeah, because
Like,
then you fall into
well-
zombie territory.
But
Yeah, then
Well, I mean, you don't have to though. I mean, you can just make it. You know, it's your movie. You can make it a virus that just fucks you up. I mean, it's a sci-fi.
Yeah.
It could have been done.
All I meant was that I wish he would have doubled down in certain areas. Like we were saying before with the sexual nature.
Yeah.
Instead of going halfway with it, just like
Yeah, go balls deep.
It's almost
All in.
the whole movie feels like that where every single aspect of it, you could have jumped in another 3 feet into the pool and it would have been
Yeah.
a bit spicier.
Yeah, definitely.
What did you guys think about visually? Did you guys like what you saw? Did you like how it felt, the fluidity of the stuff? Because I had a few things with the camera and lens choices.
I'm not one to notice those types of things. I liked the clinic look. I actually didn't mind the all white all the time because I found it made the blood stand out a lot more.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I appreciated that.
Nice thick syrupy blood too. That was fun.
Yeah, that was sick. There are a lot of shots that stand out to me. Everything in between is completely forgettable.
Yeah.
The only problems I had with the motion and fluidity, I'm assuming you mean more camera work wise.
Yeah.
When you said it, I interpreted it more just like in a general sense.
Yeah.
Narratively.
Or narrative. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, just the jumping back and forth constantly between settings, kind of like over and over again, was the only fluidity issue I saw.
That's the same thing with the kind of camera style. Each scene almost is a different style, and even when they go back to the same sets, where you'd assume that the tone is the same, the set's the same, you'd assume that the camera style would be the same. It's switched up between them. Like you can kind of tell watching it that it's a tight budget on a movie, and for something so grand as the scale that this narrative would have needed to get a full picture of it, like we were saying, where you can dive into each little aspect of it. I think you need a lot more money than was it 3 million, I think you said, for the budget?
Yeah, 3.3 mil.
Because like the interior shots, they're all super wide and super deep in the clinic at least. And then those cameras, that's hard to light. That's expensive to light everything and get the big wide angle, and you need everything in focus. You need everything fucking right. I thought they halved out with the palette, making it black and white and so flat, so that you're almost tricked into saying, oh, this is a big wide angle, this is a big wide clinic, but you're only seeing like a wall and a guy's head on it. There's no depth to the image. And then when you go outside and we have these over the shoulder kind of tracking shots, handheld, they're super shallow. You can't see anything except the guy's orange ponytail. So it's kind of like, even in the shots where you would have depth outside, you'd want to see down the street or something, we're still closed off in this little world where it's just his head. And I don't know. I don't think that was like a thematic choice or a narrative choice. I think that was pure budget to cut it off so it doesn't look like Toronto nowadays. So you get a super shallow lens and you throw it on behind him and you just follow him a bit and you show him walking around a corner or something. So you feel, oh, maybe it is a big city, but really it's just the street of Toronto or something. It's not a giant set or anything. So I think the budget really hurt this story.
I agree to an extent. I like Lee. I kind of like the sterile kind of like clinic hospital look. I think it's cohesive with like the plot of the movie. But I think the camera work is lacking hardcore in the beginning, especially.
Yeah.
And like the thing is with the palette and stuff, that's why I said I thought it was like a British movie at first, because like it had that kind of like muted tones, like grayish palette, like a lot of British movies do. And there's some actors that
It's
were
fo-
like British.
Malcolm.
Yeah, like or even like the receptionist at the apartment building had like a UK accent.
Mhm.
You know, and the guy who plays Sid kind of sounded like he could be both. Like he could be either. He kind of sounded like in the middle. Like he talked so like low, like this, that. Like I couldn't tell what his accent was a little bit. But those are like acting things. In terms of like, you know, how well the movie's made, like I think the camera work was lacking a lot, especially in the beginning. But other than that, it's mostly just pacing and like the way it's written and the dialogue that I've also found lacking in the beginning, especially.
Yeah, I think we all agree the kind of beginning of the movie is a bit lackluster, but then it grows into something nicer near the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think the second act is the weakest.
Middle chunk.
Yeah, I mean, the first act, it might be too long, but I appreciated the slow pace.
Mm-hmm.
It unsettled me the appropriate amount to prepare me for the rest of the story.
What did you guys think of the story? Were you satisfied?
Yes, I was. Despite Sid not changing and having pretty much zero character development, part of me was like, yeah, you know what? You did it. You got her. Got Hannah Geist. Good job.
Yeah, married the girl. They lived happily ever after. Yeah. Yeah, I actually thought the story was really cool. The whole concept of him being a virus smuggler and he uses his own body as the smuggling
delivery.
Yeah, like a drug mule.
Yeah,
but it's viruses. I think that's great. I think that's a really cool concept. And the whole thing where the deli is serving clone celebrity muscle meat.
Yeah.
I wonder how that tastes. Salty, probably.
It looks disgusting. It's this sort of off-white, grayish meat. It looks really gross, honestly.
It looks like matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Organic matter.
Organic matter.
Yeah, we've got this organic matter here.
Where he's eating some of it and he goes to the fridge to like get some sauce or something and then passes out or something.
Yeah. It's like you need more sauce than you have in that fridge, but
does he even have sauce in his fridge? The only thing he has is fucking egg sandwiches and orange juice.
Oh, maybe he went to go get an orange juice. I thought he got up to go get like some like sriracha or something.
Oh, I think he has orange juice and like cough medicine and stuff. I think that's it. Like medicine because he's always fucking sick. My God, imagine being sick like perpetually.
Imagine being sick enough that you have a fucking fridge with medicine beside your bed. Nothing else. A lamp and a fridge with like vials and shit, bro.
Yeah.
I would not want to be fucking celebrity if that honestly.
No.
I don't know. You get sick, you get a sick mini fridge. I wouldn't mind.
No, but Nick, then you have to give yourself like a lobotomies with a Q-tip every night, like he did at the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah, that's the coronavirus test.
Oh yeah, it's true. The Hannah guys contracted a virus from fucking China too, huh?
Yeah. Oh, there's actually a lot of
allegedly.
Yeah. No, she didn't because. Well, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, because of the little twist at the end there.
Dude, you can spoil it. We've spoiled the whole movie already.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. But it did come from China. It was an assassination attempt.
There you go.
Well, I'm not gonna spoil it.
You better not.
It was by Dennis, the guy. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Derek?
Yeah,
it's Derek.
My bad.
Derek was a Volantesser fucking snake.
Mole. A vol mole.
Yeah, exactly. A vol mole.
Fucking guy. That's why he was sick that one day.
Joey, what was your favorite shot?
It's the opening shot of him measuring his temperature orally like leaning against that Hannah Geist what
Billboard.
is it? Billboard.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I thought that was good. And other than that, the empty pool shot at the mansion
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
at night, that was a great one. The just utter blackness around the rim of the pool. That was great.
I like the kind of shot in the that kind of weird sex club, and it's the secretary, and behind the secretary, there's a bunch of, I think, bloody women dancing or something. There's some kind of digital screen behind her.
It was
Yeah.
it was lips their lips.
Lips, close enough. I like that.
Yeah, it was mouths, actually. That's
Yeah,
a
it was
good point.
mouths, yeah.
Yeah.
Dante, favorite shot?
My favorite shot is when Sid goes to Hannah Geist's apartment to take her blood, and he's in front of the bed with like the butler, and they're like all blacked out, and she's like all lit up.
Yeah.
That's probably
True, yeah. That was a good one.
That was my favorite shot for sure.
And that close up when he's taking the blood, that was good too.
Which one? The one like when it's like from the side of the bed, or like a bit closer?
Yeah, no, like the close up to her arm, like when he's putting in the needle and everything. Very intimate.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Lee?
I liked you see the reflection of Hannah Geist on a TV screen in Sid's eyeball
Oh, I don't
when he's
remember that.
in the sex club.
Oh, when he walks behind those red curtains waiting for Levine to
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I remember.
I thought that was a cool shot, both visually and thematically, because it shows like the focus of his sight. You know, that's
Right.
his fucking. It's right there in front of him. He's trying to get Hannah Geist, and here she is.
Locked up in a box.
I also liked at the end of that hallucination scene. Obviously, I like when his mouth is bleeding through the grid. That was fucking cool.
Like
Yeah.
the doorway where it's all black around.
Exactly, that one.
Yeah,
That I thought was sick. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Nick.
Hey, I already said mine.
Oh,
Come on, dude, pay attention.
I forgot. This whole segment took way too long. Anyway.
This is my
No,
new
I'm
favorite
kidding.
segment.
That was a good question. That scene where you reminded me of it, Lee. He sees her on the screen, and it's like a fake recording of her trapped in a box.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something there about celebrities being like stuck in your TV, sort of.
I think it was something.
TV's a
like,
box. They're stuck on screen. Like they can't get away from the screens no matter where they go because of all the paparazzi always following them around. They're always,
Yeah.
they're stuck in the spotlight basically. They can't get out.
That was more of the kind of extreme fetish where someone's so enthralled with celebrity would want to just capture whoever they're hung up about and just keep them right in front of them the whole time and just stare at them all day.
Well, yes, but both. I mean, it's the same thing, right?
I feel like with stuff like that, I feel like the movie also like they have like these like big statements that they present us sometimes, but sometimes they have like these like metaphorical kind of like scenes that are kind of like really vague, but kind of just thrown at you a little bit. And I feel like that's one of them.
What do you agree that it can be like a celebrities trapped in the spotlight sort of thing? Yeah,
for sure.
I like that. I think I'm onto something. I think there's something that I'm missing from the viruses having faces. I think there's some ground to be covered in that direction.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah,
I think more could have been done with it, but I think maybe there's something being said there,
I feel like a cool way to work around that would have been like, instead of having this machine, well, I mean, they kind of need the machine for other reasons, but like, I feel like it would have been cool if he saw the changes in his face in the mirror when he looked at himself.
Oh, I mean, that could have been one of the hallucination scenes where he like sees that sort of thing happening.
Yeah, see, and even that would have deepened the connection between host and virus, and
yeah,
like just a shot like that alone would have deepened that so much more effectively.
Were there any other kind of hallucinatory scenes other than the one we talked about at the beginning where he becomes so wired? Are there any other throughout?
When he's in the Volantesser like live room where they kidnap him and let him die, he kind of trips out and then sees Hannah Geist in his bed.
Yeah.
And then it cuts and it was him in bed and he was having an out of body experience.
Yeah, it's right before when Levine comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's nowhere near as fantastic as
the first one, or as frequent as you think you'd like those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd figure with the virus like that, if it happens like the second you get it, I feel like it should happen more consistently. You know, hallucinations like that.
I don't think the biomech scene was a hallucination.
Ooh, here we go. I didn't think so either when I first saw it.
The biomech when he's like meshing with his Ready Face machine,
and his mouth becomes like a grill.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hallucination. I think that's Brennan Cronenberg giving us a visual representation of what's happening inside Sid's body. So it's him meshing his subconscious, looking at the face, trying to analyze the virus, is his body and the virus meshing together through the machine. So we get him and the machine kind of becoming one, and then the blood comes out and Hannah Geist's hand appears because she was the original host of the virus. I don't think it was a hallucination. I don't think Sid March saw these things. I think Cronenberg is showing us these things so that we understand how deeply the connection between body, virus, and machine is.
Like you saying it's like it was a full on experience.
Yeah,
like a real experience that he had. I see it, but there's nothing else to indicate that it wasn't a hallucination. You know, like there's nothing that lasts from it other than him being like really fucked up.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that's like he's showing us reality. Like those things really happened.
Just a visual metaphor.
Yeah, a visual. Like I don't think Sid March saw that. He was just analyzing his virus and then he passed out from exhaustion. That's all that happened.
Sort of like a visualization of the experience.
Yeah. Just like Nick said, a visual metaphor.
But even then, if it is just the metaphor, then we're still kind of missing on the hallucinations. And then they even talk about auditory hallucinations after, and I wanted more stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure how important the hallucinations are.
The symptoms of the virus. Come on, they got to be important.
Yeah, but he was guessing. He was like,
the doctor?
Your head hurt? Yeah, he was like, does your head hurt? When my relative died of brain cancer, she had a headache.
I thought he was listing off the symptoms that Hannah was experiencing to see how far along the virus was in Sid.
Oh, maybe. I might be mixing up two scenes because I know he does that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when he showed up, he looked pretty fucked, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have asked too many questions. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he also got his ass kicked.
Everyone always asks him. He's like, "Are you feeling all right? You look a little tired or something." And he's like, "I'm sick." And it's like, dude, does no one say like, "Hey, man, you've been sick for like since I've known you."
You're fucking dying. Like, are you okay?
Yeah, you're sick. I get it, but what is it like? Fucking terminal? Like, come on.
Should I call an ambulance for you? Like,
yeah, like how bad is it?
You look like you're gonna drop dead right now.
You literally haven't been well since you started working
like, hey,
here.
Bro, you got that looks like some good heroin you got there, bro. Can I get some
Or maybe it's like Dorian thinking, hey, like when I interviewed you for the job, you seemed well, but you've been sick literally every day since you're first here. So I don't know what's going on. But I mean, Derek was caught smuggling virus.
Yeah, because they found the machine in his apartment.
Well, and they don't suspect the other guy who's always sick every day.
Yeah, but the other guy's ginger too. They could go, fuck, he's looking really pale today and full of freckles, but oh wait, never mind.
Never mind. That's normal. I guess, yeah, that was a good casting choice then.
I guess so.
Also, like Dorian's the guy at the clinic, right? Like the head of the clinic.
Yeah.
Why'd they name him Dorian and not the main character Dorian?
What do you mean?
Why?
Because of like, you know, the book The Portrait of Dorian Gray?
Yeah.
I feel like that the whole seeing your own image and it becoming distorted fits a lot with that book, you know? And I feel like that being like a device in the movie, the main character should have had that name a little bit, because I feel like that a name connotates to that a little bit.
Yeah.
It would just thematically kind of like tie things together a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you keyed in correctly on that connection. I think they gave him the name Dorian because he developed the machine. I think it's more of just like a coy little, you know, little tidbit, little treat for everyone, more than anything else.
Yeah, but it's another thing. It's like they could have went balls deep and given it to the main character.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's the one who's fucked up.
Yeah.
This main character is getting knocked up, man. Everyone's going balls deep. Anyway.
Especially because a lot of the other names too, like his first client is Edward Porus, and he gets a fucking herpes infection on his face.
That guy sucks.
Just this porous rash for Edward Porus.
What was with that rash on his arm?
Yeah, part of the disease, I guess. I didn't question it too much.
Didn't go anywhere. That would have been a good body horror thing where his rash gets really fucking gross.
Well,
or if he rips off his own rash.
Yeah, or they could have. Was that Dante?
No, Nick, go. I think I talked over Nick.
Oh, I was just going to say that they did kind of show the fun little part where they cut out the part of the rash.
Yeah, they hole punched him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then they got the tweezers in there, pulling on, yanking stuff out. That was good, actually.
Not horrendous enough, though. I don't think.
What? No, I mean, out?
Just a piece of flesh. It looked like.
Yeah, just a skin sample.
It looked like a cotton ball.
It did.
That's the dangers of practical effect use, I guess.
But had a scene where he
it's like,
where they ripped off his rash, and he's just like ripping his own rash off a little bit.
I read that they wanted to cut off his arm for that scene, but they didn't have enough cotton balls.
They only had a single cotton ball.
Yeah.
One thing. the one cotton ball. Yeah.
They used it wisely, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's very.
So this is the fun part of the show where we read some bad reviews and some good reviews, and we review the reviews.
Yay!
Letterboxd.
Okay, here's a fun one by Jack1704. Have you ever imagined if Lady Gaga got syphilis? And then, if she did, you could butt her infection. Okay, this guy doesn't know how to write. Well, you're in luck because this film is exactly that.
What?
And then if she did, you could butt her infection.
Maybe get he meant to write?
Maybe.
But
it's not that close.
Stupid review, too.
Yeah.
What's he saying, that this movie is Lady Gaga's syphilis?
I guess, yeah. Well, he's saying if you want Lady Gaga's syphilis, you can watch this, and that's as close as you'll get.
That's pretty close.
I mean, I see what he's trying to say.
He wrote this review in 2017. Was Lady Gaga that popular in 2017?
I think she was on the decline then.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Didn't she? No, didn't that movie come out with her?
What movie?
The one with Bradley Cooper? Yeah.
Star is Born? That came out later.
Oh, it did?
I think so. 2018, next year.
Here's one review. I'm not going to read all of it because it's kind of like stuff that we all already hit on. But there's one part of it that I think is like kind of interesting. Is like it says, "Boy, it must be a fun at the Cronenberg family dinner table. It is very clear, perhaps a bit too clear, where Brandon Cronenberg gets his inspiration from." How do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like it's too inspired by his father's work, or
it seems very derivative of it?
You feel like he's riding a bit too much on the tail of his dad's career, or do you feel like
I mean,
go ahead.
Oh, okay. I got something short to say. So I'm just gonna say it's his first movie, and it's his freaking dad. So I think we can, give him a little slack for being a little heavily influenced by his own father.
But then wouldn't you want to do something completely different if that is your dad and everyone knows your dad and your family name? You wouldn't want to change it up and do something completely different? Make a name for yourself instead of...
I mean, it depends. I mean, how was he brought up? I mean, if he was brought up with his dad being like, these are the best movies ever, body horror is where it's at, son, come on. Then I'd be like, yeah, he'd want to sort of be like, you know what, Dad, you got it with the body horror. I'll do something else. But if he was just, maybe he really does like his dad's sort of movies and stuff. I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at the movies David Cronenberg does, and I haven't seen any of the body horror ones. So yeah.
Also, like, at what point, like, how do we measure the credit for this movie?
What do you mean?
Like standalone credit? Like
no, like how much credit do we give Brandon Cronenberg, and how much credit are we going to give to his father's influence on him?
Yeah.
I agree with what Joey said about, like, this is his first movie.
Yeah.
I think it's different enough. I mean, when someone has that big of an influence on an entire genre, it's hard to do anything even remotely close to that genre without being derivative, whether it's his son or not.
True.
Like, when did Videodrome came out in 83?
Somewhere around then.
We did Tetsuo the Iron Man, remember?
Yeah.
That came out in 89.
Yeah.
Even that's derivative.
But even then, there's something like the overall aesthetic style of it is so different than a Canadian movie would look.
Yeah,
like
true.
That. There's something that clicks it a bit different. This seemed like it was clicking back in a used gear that we've already seen before.
I think that could be directly blamed on lack of experience.
Yeah.
I think Brandon Cronenberg had a fantastic concept for a movie and then did the rest on autopilot.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Maybe he just thought, you know what, this would be a great body horror movie. I know quite a bit about body horror movies, considering my dad invented them. But I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe, he's just nodding to his own father's work, because I mean, what's the point of just completely trying to go his own way with it if he knows that everyone's going to know him as David Cronenberg's son for his first movie anyway.
Yeah, another thing too, it could be he's looking for money for funding for future products or to start his career, and he knows the legacy associated with his last name, so he wants to go in the same vein as his father to get some kind of money for future projects or to get his name started. Like,
yeah,
good point.
I mean, if any of us were in the same situation, I'm sure we'd make a similar movie.
Oh my God. If my father was David Cronenberg, I would just fucking remake Videodrome 1,000 times.
That'd be fun. Good reviews.
Well, let's read a couple more bad ones. Some of these are.
I'm expecting some really bad reviews.
His new movie came out at Sundance
this year.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's already out. Okay. Well, it's out in festivals. I'm sure it'll be in theaters in like the fall.
God damn it. We didn't do our research.
God damn it.
You tried?
Here's one star review. It just says lol.
Yeah. Classic. A lot of those on Letterboxd.
Fantastic review. Almost as good as the reviews that are just synopses.
There aren't that many half stars, which I guess is a good thing, but there aren't that many reviews in general. so who knows?
Well, his new movie Possessor is also a body horror, so I think he grew up just liking body horror movies.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, fuck. How are you not going to do that?
Yeah, I don't blame him. And you know what? I don't think the body horror genre is that overcrowded or anything for me to complain about another body horror director in the mix. Even if it is David's son, if anything, all the better that it is someone who we know can have a good.
Who's recording at a construction site?
Yeah, who's fucking beeping? What's going on?
My window is
Is
open.
that us?
Yeah,
I'm literally in the room right next to you. I don't hear it.
I know. This guy's right in the fucking driveway across the street.
Fucking give him the beans.
Yo, release the dogs on him. What are you doing?
Tell them we're fucking doing the #1 podcast in Indochina. Let them know.
Hey, don't insult our viewer.
Here's another 1 star. It says, despite my 1.5 stars, it wasn't terrible.
Oh, nice.
Why'd you rate it 1.5 stars?
Interesting take on the review system. I like that one, actually.
Yeah, a lot of the low star reviews seem to be more confused than anything else.
Yeah.
Is a trend I'm noticing.
It's either confused or they just say it's bad.
Yeah,
That seems to be a trend with a lot of the movies we've been doing, though.
that's true. Oh, here's a good one. Headache-inducing minimalist cobblers about celebrity obsession. Nice idea. Utterly shite, pretentious execution. He adds that this movie is for fans of adjusting the brightness.
Okay, that was pretty funny.
That's a good one.
That's a good
That's a good review.
Here's a good German one. Should I try and read an entire German review for our German audience?
Please.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
They do reference David Cronenberg's The Fly, though. So
This one that says great Cronenberg
Classic.
taste, 0 sugar.
come again.
This one that says great Cronenberg taste, 0 sugar.
Interesting. What was the star rating?
2.
Oh,
Light rating.
I feel like they're writing better reviews than they're rating them. If that makes any sense. The stars, they're giving less stars than their comments suggest they would.
Dude, I hate these fuckers who write full essay reviews on Letterboxd and get like fucking 2 likes. Like, congrats, dude. Spend all that time for fucking 2 people to read your review.
There's a lot of reviews about it being a Black Mirror episode, though.
God damn it.
Yeah, that's a common joke.
Oh, is it?
Well, that I'm noticing as well. I mean, a lot of people saying that.
Subpar Black Mirror episode, 2 stars.
Yeah.
I mean, a good Black Mirror episode, in my opinion.
And most of the positive reviews are just saying, feels like Cronenberg, I liked it. Or like, apple doesn't fall far from the tree kind of shit.
Yeah, you guys want to just go to our own then?
Yeah, Letterboxd is letting us down for this one.
Letterboxd sucks today.
Not in the good way.
No good mail today. No good mail.
I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd.
5 on 5?
Yeah, I said flawless, just like Hannah.
That's a
Joke, though. It's obviously very flawed. We've just spent 2 hours talking about how flawed it is.
Very meta review.
As a review, top-notch review.
Thanks, man. That's what I was going for.
So our first-time guest, Dante, would you like to start us off with your personal review and star rating on 10? Keep in mind, 5 being a perfectly average movie.
Didn't we rate it on 10 last time?
Yeah, that's what Nick just said.
He said 5.
No, he said he rated it on 10.
Yeah,
But then he said 5 being a perfect rating.
perfectly average.
Perfectly average, yeah.
Oh,
So,
my bad.
like, most of the time people give it like a 7 on 10 or something for any shit movie, but that would make the 7 the average. So we're going to try and keep 5 the perfect average.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So a shit movie would be like a 2 or a 3.
I kind of give it like Oh, this is hard now that you bumped 5 down to average. 7 was usually the average, but now it's because I was going to give it a 5 if 7 was an average. I give it like a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
Tough critic.
Tough critic.
I like. Actually, I don't know. Like, because I did enjoy the movie.
You're just saying it's slightly below average.
I think it's slightly below average. Yeah. Because there's a lot of like I feel like there's a lot. The thing is, like, even if it's a flawed movie, there's a lot of small things they could have done in the movie to make it better. You know, there's a lot of small things they could have done to not be a 4. You know, and like not even big things that require a lot of budget, just like small things like composing your shots better in the first half. You know. Maybe writing a little bit better, like that monologue that Sid gives at the end. I've had a lot of time to think, bro. You had an hour to think. This movie, like all the events transpired in this movie, right? You know.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I give it a 4 out of 10.
All right.
Fair.
I think that's the lowest. Is that the lowest review?
If 5's an average, if 7's an average, I'll give it a 6.
We're keeping it 5.
Yeah, we're keeping.
Okay, keep it 5. It's 4.
I don't think that's the lowest review. I think we've shit on a movie pretty hard before.
Which one?
Oh, I don't remember. A few of them we crapped on pretty bad.
Oh, Alien.
Oh yeah, the like Prometheus and
Covenant.
We gave them the beans pretty hard.
Yeah. Do you remember your ratings for this?
No, but our viewers can just go listen to them.
It was probably around 4, something around there.
Go listen to the whole episodes in case you miss it.
I remember watching that, and Joey especially didn't like Prometheus.
Yeah, that's brutal, that one.
Oh, we shit on Creepshow pretty hard.
Wait, was I on that episode?
Yeah. Joshy, I remember me shitting on.
Yeah.
Oh, how did Halen like that?
He hasn't been on since.
Like it's true, eh?
How about you guys? What about the rest of you guys? What do you guys rate it?
Yeah, Joey, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll give it. I see Dante's 4, and I'll raise a 6.
Oh.
So I'll give it a slightly above average on 10 because I think the concept was good and the themes were good. I just think some lack of experience showed in the overall. So, but I see his potential. So I'm gonna go watch Possessor after, and maybe that'll change my mind or what. I don't know.
Well, Possessor could be a fun reunion episode, and we can see if we're right or wrong in the progression.
True. Yeah. Nick?
The whole movie, I wanted more. I wanted to taste a bit more of it, but overall, I enjoyed it enough. I was going to go with a 5.
Perfectly average.
Perfectly average movie. If the fucking, like Dante was saying, if they spiced it a little more, if it was tuned up a little bit more, it would be 6 or 6.5, something like that. But it was just lacking in every small category, but just a small percent lacking.
Yeah.
Lee, what are you thinking?
I can't quite put my finger on what it is about this movie, but I fucking love it.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
11.
I mean, there's no way around it. It's flawed. Mm-hmm. Right? Pacing, character development, fucking commitment. We've ran over the list multiple times.
Yeah.
But despite all that, I just really love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think the concept and the aesthetic and the shock when I first saw it, like the nostalgia from watching it now, like kind of reliving the shock from when I first, because I watched this, I think I saw it in theaters when it first came out.
Oh, really? I
think this is like the first movie I saw in theaters alone.
Wow, that's fun.
So I don't know. It's got like a special place. I'm inclined to give it a perfect score just because of how much I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Irrationally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're allowed to have an emotional reaction to the movie or some kind of sentimentality towards it, despite what we've talked about.
Am I?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll like a fucking episode of some dumb show, Yvonne of the Yukon or something. And
Hey, whoa, that's a national treasure, bud.
Yeah, that's
Hey, so are the
Even
Cronenbergs.
Cronenberg ain't got nothing on
There you go.
All right.
All right, then. If I'm allowed, I'm gonna give it a 10. If you'll allow
I
it.
mean, you should be allowed. I feel like with reviews, like the ultimate way to review something is how much you based on how much you enjoy it. You know.
Yeah.
Well, in that case,
Trying to
give
review things objectively is always kind of going to lead you to contradictions a lot of the time.
in that case, I'm gonna rate Yvonne of the Yukon 10. Smelliest farts this side of the Atlantic.
There you go.
True.
All right.
Oh, this is a fun podcast, fun movie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. For all its faults, it was a fun watch.
Yeah, and thank you, Dante and Joy, for hopping on this episode.
Hey, no problem. I've been meaning to come on for a while.
Come on, what?
I mean, come on.
I've been meaning to come on Hannah Geist's face for a long time.
Oh, I mean, who hasn't, dude?
Get in line, buddy.
I'll give her something. Anyway, Dante, what were those movies you wanted to do also with us?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah, we
Audition?
can talk about it after. Nick, you wanted to do a Herzog next, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be next, but we can throw it in the mix. And maybe another little director feature where we look at 2 or 3 of someone's movies and stuff. Could be
Okay,
fun.
it's a good idea.
Playlists.
Yeah, we'll
good
talk
idea.
about it when we stop recording.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll do
I don't know. I like giving the viewers a little sneak peek, even though they don't really watch this.
I
Long.
think that was a sufficient sneak peek right there.
All right.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
I think the more regular host will decide what a sufficient sneak peek is for the podcast. All right. You popped your cherry. We get it. Now sit down. Be humble. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
How about this? If you want to know what we're going to do next before it comes out, make sure to follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and we'll be sure to keep you guys updated because as of right now, it doesn't sound like we're too sure what we're doing next.
Join our Patreon for some super secret. Oh, we don't have that yet?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
With that said, this episode of Monolith was sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
NordVPN.
You can follow us at Monolith Film Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Email us at the Monolith Film Club at gmail.com. Send us your own reviews of these movies. Tell us how good we are at what we do. Tell us how shit we are at what we do. Whatever platform you listen to us on, make sure to follow or subscribe, leave a review, comment, like, all that stuff. Be interesting to see how many people we got as an audience, you know?
Mm.
Apart from that, you can find me on Instagram as well.
I mean, we're going to be shooting out some quarantine pods, I think. So get ready, audience listeners, for some more frequent episodes.
Yeah, I think we're going rapid fire soon.
Mm.
Dante, you want to plug anything?
No, if you guys want to see my art, daffy.dante at Instagram. That's about it.
There you go.
Nice.
I hope I'm invited back, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after the show.
never going to speak to Joey again. Cuts me off completely.
Like it's not working out.
You don't even Lee. You don't like the movie Antiviral, bro? I'm sorry, bro. It's
No.
How dare you shit on my favorite movie on my podcast?
You don't give good movies worse reviews than us. It's not how it works.
You're not allowed.